Welcome to the Kingdom Corner. I'm Andrew, and with me, as always, is my good friend, the guy who's sporting the stash now, Mr.
Yes.
Dale Baker. How we
Yeah.
doing?
Takes me about 3 weeks for it to come in, but when it comes in glorious.
All right, I like it. I like it. So the real question is, does your wife like it?
She hates it. Well, I said that the other day, and she goes, "I never said that." I said, "Well, you don't." Anyway, and she's never said anything good about it.
All right.
So there you go.
Just offhand comments here and there, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's No Shave November.
There you go.
So here we go.
There you go. All right. Hey, well, it looks good, my friend. So.
Thank you.
All right. Well, in today's episode, we're going to be jumping into and looking at the highly anticipated matchup against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, these things are always electric. And so we got a matchup here against the Buffalo Bills in week 11 of the NFL season. It is it's the latest in the season that two teams have played with the highest winning percentage in
there you go
NFL.
Okay.
So
all
there
right.
we go. So it is a big matchup. It's on CBS at 3:25 Central Time. And so they are going all out for this thing. So we're going to be discussing it, looking at the Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes comparison.
Ooh.
Do they even compare?
Do they even compare? We'll find out.
We're about to find out. So all this and much, much more coming up. So come hang out with us.
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown! Kansas City. The game is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions.
How about those Chiefs?
All right, Dale. So Chiefs and Bills. I mean, what are your initial thoughts about this game here?
My initial thoughts are we're going to lose this game and win in the playoffs. Those are my initial thoughts. So
already throwing in the towel. We haven't even got to kickoff or even the coin toss, and Dale's already throwing it in.
Yeah, well, I just feel like we always lose to the Bills in the regular season, then we beat them in the playoffs when it counts, when it matters. To go like to Super Bowls and to host Lombardis and things like that. So yeah, I feel like you can win the regular season Super Bowl, but we'll just go ahead and win the postseason Super Bowl.
All right. Well, let's look at some of these other matchups, and then lastly, we'll look at the matchup between Mahomes and Allen, because that's the mostly anticipated one. So you got to hang out with us to get to that one. So, but first thing is the Chiefs' defensive line. I mean, can they generate pressure on Josh Allen? Because don't you have to generate pressure in order to win this game?
Yeah, I think you have to. And it's a weird kind of pressure, right? It has to be pressure, but it also has to be containment of pressure because he'll use his legs. And so it's not like you can run, 15 yards up the field and circle back and get him, or he's going to be gone. And so, you have to create pressure, but also contain him because he is a great talent. Maybe not as great as some people, but he is a great talent. And so, just having that. And so as we look, the defense, I mean, it seems like it's going to get healthier here in the next couple of weeks with Charles Omenihu coming back. Mike Dana came back last week, and so I think that's a good news. And then hopefully the guy we picked up from the Patriots, he starts making a splash.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, give you a little comparison of how big Josh Allen is. Josh Allen is 6'5".
Man.
So 6'5", 237 pounds.
Wow.
So for comparison, Patrick Mahomes, who's not small either, 6'2", 225.
There you go.
So, I mean, almost 15-pound difference. I mean, you wouldn't think 15 pounds makes a big difference, but in the NFL, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and so the defensive line, they've got to get after Josh Allen this game. They have struggled to generate pressure without blitzing. No. That's not a good thing.
No.
And even Chris Jones this year, Chris Jones has only generated pressure on a little over 10% of his attempts this year, which is the lowest in his career. So, but even with that 10%, he has still generated 30 pressures and 14 quick pressures, which still leads the entire team.
Yeah.
Even though he is having statistically his worst year as a Chief. So,
and I think that's where we're lacking on the pressure. George Karlaftis, I mean, Chris Jones, if you watch the film, he's getting double teamed, if not triple teamed, if not chipped when he's on the outside, So they are doing everything they can to slow him down. And so I think that's where the others, to quote Shaquille O'Neal, the others have to step up and make plays, right? The others have to get there because they're getting one-on-one pressure. And I think we have seen glimpses of George Karlaftis getting pressure because of so much attention is put on Chris Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got to step up more. Mike Dana, I know he's come back from an injury, but he's got to step up more. Hopefully when Charles Omenihu comes back, that'll make a big difference too, because that dude was on fire last year.
That guy was
his injury. So if he comes back at even half of that, we'll be in good shape by the time we get to the end of the year, as long as, we don't get any injuries, knock on wood here.
Knock on wood.
So, yeah, but here's the other flip side of that. The Bills' offense has gone jumbo, which means they've had 6 or more offensive linemen on 15% of their plays this year, which is by far the highest in the NFL.
Right.
And so on those, they've averaging over 7 yards a carry when they put jumbo in. So that doesn't bode well for our defensive line as far as pressure goes, but luckily the Chiefs have been pretty good against the run, though.
Yes, they have.
But against that jumbo, I mean, that's a scary thought when you see all those guys coming in there and they're averaging over 7 yards a carry when they get that jumbo in there. So just something to watch out for there.
Yeah, and I think they also have 2 tight ends that they like using quite a bit, and the Chiefs in the past this year in particular have struggled guarding the tight end, and so that's going to be something interesting to watch. Now I know Kincaid may or may not play. I don't know if it's official yet, so we probably won't know until Sunday at noon or Sunday at 11, whenever they have to turn in their official cards. That he's not going to play. But I think we can see signs if he doesn't practice, today or tomorrow with the walkthrough, then you can probably pretty sure count him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also I think for sure one of his wide receivers, rookie wide receiver Coleman, is not playing. He's on the injured report. And then Amari Cooper, who they got from the Cleveland Browns, who a lot of people I think I heard why didn't the Chiefs get him? Well, he's hurt and he may not play. So it's going to be a very interesting game, and it may not be the same teams because I know we're banged up too. Harrison Butker is out, which we'll talk about. And then having Charles Omenihu, who's not playing, Pat's still dealing with the high ankle sprain, and
well,
it might be
say
a different.
This, though, too, talking about the injuries. Juju looks like he's on track to play this week.
That's going to be awesome.
So, I mean, he comes in as a secondary role. I mean, when he was at the lead role that 1 week, he had over 100 yards and I think 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown, but just lighting it up. And so now with DeAndre Hopkins and then throw him into that role of, the Justin Watson kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not to say take Justin Watson out. He's always good for a few big plays too. But I mean, that could be good. So
and I think Juju made his name not only with the Chiefs, but before that he made it with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown being the number 1 and him being the number 2 and kind of, and really, really getting after it. So Juju has hands. And so that's the good part. And it seems like him and Mahomes has a great relationship and knowing where he should be at on the field.
Yeah. So you talk about injuries. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that then. So,
okay. All right. Let's do it.
The good thing is Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu are both back to practice this week.
Wow.
That does not mean that they're going to be playing this week.
Yeah.
But they are back to practice, which means they are getting close. So I don't anticipate them to play this week, but I would not be surprised to see either one of them on the field the following week against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Which
will be a good game just to get back.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So, but if you're not ready for that one, you're going to lose that one too, as we say every
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every NFL team can beat you. They're paid the same over there too. So
you
got to be ready. So some might not have the chemistry and the coaching and stuff that the Chiefs do, but you still got to be ready.
Right.
So the Chiefs have some guys out on injury, but we do see at least a little bit of positive sign.
Right.
With some of these guys like Pacheco and Omenihu coming back to practice at least. So, but then you talked about Harrison Butker. So, not even sure what happened here. Maybe he's a little banged up or something. Wasn't even on the injury report on Wednesday. And then yesterday on Thursday, he was on the injury report and then got placed on injured reserve, having some kind of orthopedic knee surgery. And so they expect him to be back. But, I mean, that's big.
That's huge. That's huge. Big for us because he's such a automatic kicker. 50 yards and in, I think you would just say, just go ahead and put it on the board. And so, I know the Buffalo Bills probably remember Harrison Butker putting a couple games in there. And so, yeah, I think that's big. But they picked up a kid, Spencer. What was his last name?
Yeah, Spencer Schrader.
Spencer Schrader. So is his first year in the league. He's played with the Colts and he's played with the New York Jets. He's 2 for 2. And that's good news. But hey, well, it all changes when it's the game on the line.
That's right.
So so we'll see how he does.
Yeah, very little to go off of him so far because he is a rookie, and so in his rookie year, he's only played in 2 games. Hit all of his attempts and all of his extra points. So that's good news. There's just so little to go off. We're not really sure what we're getting, but from what we do know, which it says little, it seems like it's maybe a good fill-in at least until Butker can get back.
Yeah. And he'll get a Super Bowl ring, right? I mean, not a bad deal.
If the Chiefs win,
not a bad deal for him.
Not at all. Get in for 3 or 4 games and get yourself a nice shiny ring. So I'd take that.
Yeah, that'd be all right. But yeah, so I think, having Dave Tobe as our special teams coach and Andy Reid, but having Dave Tobe, a Hall of Fame special teams coach, he will let Andy know what he can do and what he can't do. And I think they're going to put him in a situation. I think that's what the Chiefs do is so great is that they put their guys in situation to win. And so they may be a little iffy on a 48-yarder or something like that. But if Dave Tobe feels confident, I think he'll put it through.
Yeah, well, I hope so. So we'll find
out. As a lot has to go right on a kickoff or a field goal attempt, as we saw last week.
Yes, it does. So he has not even attempted a field goal over 50 yards this year. He's only attempted a 40-some yarder and a 20-some yarder. So don't have a lot of really long kicks really to go off of. But hey, hit the ones that he hit a 45 as his long for the year.
45 long for the year?
Yeah. So, and again, that's not very many attempts, only 2 attempts, but 45 is his long for the year. So just something to keep in mind as we go forward. So, but here's another question for you. So Trent McDuffie. McDuffie, an all-pro cornerback for the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's been moved to the outside a lot this year. And even in the last couple of games, he's got burned on some touchdowns. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, what do we do here? Are we in trouble at cornerback? I mean, is he just trying to cover for Jalen Watson, who's out, and trying to peek over and help somewhere else? Or is he just out of position and getting beat himself?
Yeah, I think a little bit of all. I mean, when you're not used to playing that position, especially being here in Kansas City, I don't think he's been asked to be outside very much. And then to be thrown outside, it's a whole different ball game on how you cover and how you go about it. And so those slot guys, they're going they don't do a lot of go routes. They're more inside. And so when you hit, I think it was Sutton he was guarding, hit a go route on him and he got burned. He got cooked. And so, but I think it's, as Deion Sanders, the great Deion Sanders says, never waste a mistake. And so hopefully he's learning those mistakes and learning from them and okay, how can I play that? Because he's good enough athlete. He may be a little undersized as a big corner on the outside, but I think he can figure it out.
Oh yeah. He's got all the tools to figure it out. And I'm not even trying to imply that he's not good or that he's not elite.
Yeah.
But he's just got some learning things to do. And I think by the time we get towards the end of the season, he'll figure some of those things out. But with Buffalo having some injuries out at wide receiver this week, that could end up being good for us or maybe bad too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be caught looking a little bit more, thinking it's not as impactful of a player in front of him. But we'll see. But it's just something to keep in mind. But last thing I want to talk about before we jump into the Mahomes and Allen debate here.
Oh, well, I don't know if there's a debate. I don't know that we call it.
Well,
okay,
hey,
all right. Yeah.
One more thing. Offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Ooh, bud.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about it, really. What do we do? So here's some stats for you. They have the second most unblocked pressures of the entire league this year with 35 unblocked pressures.
Wow.
And 7 unblocked sacks, which lead the league. and 7 unblocked sacks. I mean,
wow,
unblocked sacks. And,
that's unreal.
And the thing is, a lot of these are coming against your left tackle, which is your blindside. You don't want your franchise quarterback to be blindsided by unblocked guy coming at him. So, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week, but I just got to say again, it's like, if they don't figure that out, it's going to be rough.
Well, and the crazy part of it all is that the 3 interior guys, so our 2 guards and our center, are probably all pro.
Yeah.
And it's the 2 weak spot. And like, they're not even, I'm sure Trey Smith and Tooney are covering up quite a bit for those tackles to help, helping them out and things like that. And so it's very concerning, our offensive line. So we've seen this, we've gone through this, and I think you're exactly right. Next year, we will not have problems.
Yeah. Well, the flip side is I don't know if we'll have Trey Smith next year, honestly. Because
I watched the interview with
his contract's coming up, man, and you can't pay everybody.
Can't pay everybody, and what Trey Smith's going to want.
But they're expecting him to be the highest paid guard in the league.
I'm sure he is. He is a pancake making machine. Because I think you have Justin Reed, Nick Bolton, and Trey Smith for sure up. And you're going to have to do something with. I looked up Spencer Schrader's numbers last year for Notre Dame.
Okay.
So he played 13 games. Mm-hmm. His long was 54.
Okay.
He had 22 field goal attempts. He made 15. So he's at a 68.2%. And then he made 62 extra points. So you seem the extra point for college is still a little closer than the NFL, but he made 62 of those. So can he fill in?
All right.
It sounds like it.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into this. Mahomes versus Allen, right?
Do you hear this debate a lot? Do you hear people talk? I mean, I know on TV we do, and I know friends I have think like Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes are the same guys.
Oh yeah.
So would you agree with that statement?
No, I would not. Not at all.
And would you have like facts or something to back that up?
Let me give you some stats just on this year, though. On this year alone.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes has been blitzed on 28% of his dropbacks.
Wow.
And so pretty high.
Yeah.
But it's one of his career lows, believe it or not, though. Because I think people are learning that he usually does pretty good against the blitz, so they don't blitz him as much. But anyways, 28% of the times those dropbacks he's been blitzed, he has 388 passing yards on those blitzes this year. With 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, though. And so Buffalo, however, their defense, so something to look at, their defense, when they blitz, they allow a league-high 63% completion percentage against the blitz. However, they have 5 interceptions against when they do blitz, which is tied for the 3rd most in the league. So, and on the flip side, Allen, when he's been blitzed this year, he has 705 passing yards with 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Wow.
This year. So, talking about our D-line earlier, if we can't get pressure with 4, do you really want to blitz him?
Yeah.
But then if you don't blitz him, do you just let him sit back there and
pick us apart?
It's a double-edged sword there.
It is.
So, what would you do? Would you just say, guys, figure it out, get pressure, or would you bring some pressure and blitz them?
So I think Spags does a great job at this in the game, because we'll text when we're watching the game. If we're watching it live, we'll text back and forth, and we're like, we're not getting any pressure. I think you go 4, and then this situation, I think that one of the things about Spags' defense is he's so good at hiding the blitz, because it seems like they never know when it's coming, and all of a sudden here comes Trent McDuffie, or here comes L'Jarius Sneed last year off the slot, and just open to hitting the quarterback. And so I think I think they'll try to do pressure with 4, have Nick Bolton the spy on Allen, and then cross your fingers.
Yeah, I mean,
so
based on what's happening the last few weeks, I think you have to bring pressure.
Yeah,
because I think based on the last few weeks, I don't know that they can generate a lot of pressure with just their front 4.
Right.
I wish they could. Maybe they'll turn the corner this week and get some things going, but they haven't been able to most of the year. And so you can't just let them sit back there.
No.
Because no matter what quarterback you have in the NFL, you give him 6 seconds, 7 seconds, which is an eternity in the NFL.
Yes.
Anybody can find an open guy for in that amount of time. So I could find an open guy in that amount of time. I'm not saying I could get him the ball, but I could find the open guy. Right. So
you could find him. You could see him.
Yeah, I can see like there he is. That's where the ball should go.
That's where the ball should go.
Don't know if I can get it there, but that's where it should go. So,
there you go.
So you got to get some pressure. You can't just let him sit back there.
Yeah.
You got to take it with what you can. So, I mean, if he's going to complete against you anyways in 7 seconds, might as well see if he can complete in 3 seconds.
Right. Yeah. And I think like having some of his weapons not on the field is going to make a big difference for us on defense. So, and I think if they don't have the amount of weapons, or the Coleman and Amari Cooper and Kincaid, if those three guys don't play, I think we're going to see Josh Allen run a bunch more.
Yeah.
Than normal.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this year alone, Allen, 59% of his passing yards have come on yards after the catch, which is the highest in his career. So let me just give you a little bit of head-to-head stats, and not just head-to-head. But
can I guess? Can I guess some of these?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so surely Josh Allen has more MVPs than Pat Mahomes.
You would be incorrect, sir. I know that's the argument that people would love to make, but it's not correct.
Okay, well then, if he doesn't have more MVP, he has more Pro Bowls.
Well, you would think, but no, that would be incorrect as well. So,
he has more wins than Pat Mahomes.
Well, you would sure think so, but you'd be wrong again. All of these things are highly favored in Mahomes' favor. I'll just give you.
Give us the numbers, please.
Here's the stats first off. In the regular season, Mahomes is 1-3 against Allen. Allen has won the last 3.
Yeah.
However, in the playoffs, in money time when it really matters.
Yes.
Mahomes is undefeated against Josh Allen with 3-0.
Oh, 3-0.
So Mahomes has played in one more game than Josh Allen. So these are very comparable stats here. So here are the stats in which Patrick Mahomes leads Josh Allen in one more game. And if you need the numbers, I can prove them to you to show you that he cannot catch up with one game. So Mahomes has a better record, a better completion percentage, more yards, more passes per attempt, more yards per game, more passing touchdowns, less interceptions, a higher quarterback rating, more Super Bowls, more Pro Bowls, more All-Pros, more MVPs, more Offensive Players of the Year, and more Super Bowl MVPs. And those are the ones that people care about the most. So let me just break that down for you a little more. Pro Bowls, Josh Allen has 2. Which I don't know about you, that kind of surprised me even a little.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. But when you have Mahomes and you have Lamar Jackson and you have, it only goes. And Joe Burrow.
You can only pick the best. So that's all I'm saying. You can only pick the best. Mahomes has 6 of those. He also has 3 All-Pros, and Josh Allen has 1. Josh Allen has 0 championships, 0 MVPs, 0 Offensive Players of the Year, and 0 Super Bowl appearances, which also means he has 0 Super Bowl MVPs. So I don't know about you. That seems like a pretty clear factor of who the better quarterback might be there.
Might be. And I think like people are so in a panic or in a rush or want someone, because I think we had Tom Brady and we had Peyton Manning, right? Yeah. And so there was always the comparison. Like Peyton Manning won all the regular season stuff. He won the MVPs, he won the All Pros, he won the Pro Bowls, all that. But Tom won all the post season stuff, like the Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVPs, and things like that. And so I think we want that comparison, but it's just not that comparison. And not saying that Josh Allen's a bad player. He's just playing, against the greatest quarterback ever to step foot on a field.
Yeah. Well, and the flip side with Brady and Manning, I mean, Brady dominated the regular season against Peyton Manning. He was 9-3 against Peyton Manning in the regular season.
Wow.
Peyton Manning, however, was 3-2 against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Okay.
But Brady obviously ended up winning more Super Bowls and everything else. But Peyton Manning showed up in the playoffs, and so similar comparison. But I would say those two even had a better rivalry, because in the playoffs they were almost 500 against each other, and those big rivalries, if they're really going to be a rivalry, they have to perform in the biggest moment and in the biggest games. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that Josh Allen doesn't perform, but he just hasn't quite figure out how to win against the Chiefs in the playoffs. And once again, I'm not even saying that's all in the quarterback because it's not. It's a team sport.
Yeah, it's a team sport. So the 13-second game would be a great example of that, right?
Yes.
It's not Josh. That was not Josh Allen's fault. No. That was the coaching.
Yeah, in the last 2 minutes, I think there's 26 points scored in the regular time, right before overtime, and they scored 13 seconds left, and they're like, "Okay, we got this." And as
they were celebrating,
as they should have. I would too.
13 seconds.
After 30 seconds, we got this. It's won. It's over. They can't do anything. And as well has been talked about, even on this podcast, since we were there in person to see the greatest playoff game maybe in NFL history.
Yeah.
But by far the greatest playoff game as far as quarterbacks go in NFL history.
Yeah.
But we got that moment, and Mr. Dale here is saying, hey, have faith. We got this. We got this. I'm not sure why he had faith. It's 13 seconds, but hey, he was right.
I just thought we had the fastest guy on the field. And we had just seen him run from the middle all the way to the end zone, untouched.
Yeah.
And I was like, if we can get him open, we can do something. I mean, and so this having Tyreek Hill, and like I've been reflecting on Tyreek Hill and his career at Kansas City. And looking at the Chiefs offense, we have all kinds of questions. I mean, I would dare say Tyreek Hill is one of the greatest wide receivers in Kansas City history.
I would agree.
And maybe in the NFL because
I don't know if you can argue that because the Chiefs don't have a lot of great wide receivers in their history to begin with.
But just what the Chiefs could do with Tyreek Hill, and we have not been able to recreate it, no matter how hard we tried. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, McCole Hardman. We're trying to Rashid Rice. We're trying to recreate this high-powered offense, and Tyreek Hill is the missing piece.
Yeah. Well, hey, they got Hollywood Brown this year in the offseason.
Right.
To try to do that, and he
got hurt.
Make it to the regular season.
Yeah. So. What was his biggest complaint is his injury. He just can't stay healthy. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey.
Anyway, I know we're not talking about Tyreek Hill, but yes, to win that game was incredible. And to see the souls of the Buffalo Bills fans leave their body was probably one of the greatest sports moments of my life.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say that I'll probably never see an NFL game as great as that one in person ever in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a good game and just fantastic from start to finish.
Right.
And especially the last 2-3 minutes and then into overtime. It was just fantastic. Fantastic. So final question on this game.
Okay.
How big is this game for the Chiefs and for their season this year against the Bills this Sunday?
So if they were 8-1, I would say not that big of a deal. Well, since they're 9-0, or even if they were like 7-2, like not that big of a deal. I guess it'd be a little more bigger deal because it would be like the tiebreaker for the who hosts. But we've seen that Mahomes can go anywhere and win, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me. But I think it's a little more pressure with them being 9-0 and having a chance to go 10 or undefeated. And so I think it does add a little pressure. But I don't think if we lose this game, then I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for Kansas City.
Yeah. So if the season ended right now, the Chiefs would be the 1 seed and the Bills would be the 2 seed.
Right.
Chiefs are 9-0, Bills are 8-2. So if you can do the math there, you can figure out the Chiefs have already had their bye, so they've played one less game.
So before we get to our picks, let me ask you this: if the Chiefs lose, which I don't think they will, how many games do you think they lose this season?
It's a great question.
Because I think we both had them going 14-3, just different losses, right? Yeah, 14-3. So are you still holding to the 3 now that they're 9-0?
Well, some of those losses I really thought they were going to happen earlier in the season.
Yeah, right.
I thought, man, get to the Ravens and then the Bengals and playing just some of these high-powered teams just to start the season. I thought, man, they're surely. I mean, the 49ers even.
Yeah.
I thought surely they're going to have to drop one of those, and they made it through, but. Here's the difference of why I think that they're probably going to lose some. Harrison Butker.
Yeah.
Because think about how many games he has won for us, even this year, even against the Bengals, right? That he has won by kicking a game-winning field goal to win it this year.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm not saying that this guy that they have coming in is not going to be good, but Harrison Butker might be the best kicker in the NFL currently, and I don't think that is a stretch by any means. I mean, the Chiefs
No.
made him
Oh,
the
no.
highest paid
Yeah.
kicker this past offseason. He has been lights out. I mean, nailing everything.
Yeah.
And so when you have somebody like that you can rely on any circumstance from basically anywhere on the field and say, go win it for us, he's like,
Right.
I got you, and does it. That's a huge advantage. And so I think in one of these games that he is out, the Chiefs are probably going to drop one of these games because they're playing these games close.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always said good teams find ways to win close games, which is still true.
Yep.
But you're missing one of your pieces that helps you win those close games in the kicker.
Yeah.
And people might want to say, oh, kickers, they're not even real football players. Like, well, they help you win games. So
yes, they do.
As much as people want to debate that, they can debate that some other time. But we've very well understand and realize here in this podcast that they play a huge critical role. And so they're probably going to drop one or two just because of Harrison Butker being out. Now, I still don't think they're going to lose more than 3 at the most. And one of those is might be the last game of the season if they already have their seed locked up.
Right.
So, but they're probably going to drop one at some point just because of Harrison Butker's injury.
All right. So you think one game?
Yeah, 1 to 2 games. Depending on how the season goes and where they're at the end of the season, maybe 3-2. So
yeah. Well, and I tell you what makes me most nervous is the Chargers and the Broncos. And just how well they played, and to see the Chargers getting better and better, and seem like they figuring it out makes me a little bit nervous because they're on a roll. They're in a place to get that playoff spot. I think they're 6-2 maybe.
Yeah.
The
Chiefs are definitely in a position to still control their own destiny. Even if they lose this game against the Bills on Sunday, they'd still hold the one.
Oh yeah.
Because they'd still be a half game up because they've still only lost 1 game as the Bills have lost 2. So they'd still be a half game up. And so they can still lose one and be all right. But we'll just see how that goes. So, all right. So what is the score prediction for this week against the Bills?
Let's see. The Buffalo Bills, which I'm shocked we didn't get flexed to the Sunday night game. I'm sure CBS did not want to give that game up.
Oh, I'm sure they did. They said, hey, we got this game and we're not turning loose of it.
And I was also shocked they didn't flex the Ravens-Steelers game. I thought that would have been a good Sunday night game, standalone game. But instead, we get the Bengals and Chargers, and we get to see the Bengals lose another one.
All right, find out.
So, my score prediction for the 3:25 game, I think it's going to be low scoring. I think we're going 20-17 Chiefs.
All right. I have a similar score, a little higher. I have 23-20.
Okay.
Chiefs. So I still think the Chiefs are going to pull it out somehow in the end.
Yeah.
I think they just got a lot going for them, and I think those injuries for Buffalo is going to catch up with them. And the Buffalo defense this year has not been playing well, which goes well for the Chiefs because their offense hasn't always been clicking this year. So we'll see how that goes. So, all right, real quick, we're going to jump into some betting lines and then our AFC power rankings if we have time. So, but first off, our betting lines this year, we're both 3-2. We picked different ways, but we're each 3-2 so far. So we have the Bills by 2 in the betting line this year or this week.
Yeah.
So are you going to stick with the Chiefs winning by more than 2?
Yeah, I'll stick with the Chiefs. They're going to win by more than 2.5. And I think that line will change by Sunday. All right. If his wide receivers are out. Anyway, so what you got?
It probably will, but we're still sitting at 2 because that's where we're at. Okay, Mahomes.
What'd you have? Did you have the Chiefs too? Winning more by 2?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I stick with my score of 23-20. So I'll stick. So what about Mahomes rushing yards? So on the year, he is average 18.5 rushing yards a game. So not very many. And he's coming in, remember, with an ankle injury as well.
Yeah.
And so the line is 21.5. Will he get more or less than 21.5? I'll go with the over. I think he's going to get over 21.5 this game, even with his ankle injury.
I think he will, and then we'll be kneeling the game out at the end, and he's going to lose that 21.5. So I'm going to go under.
All right. Josh Allen pass attempts, 32.5.
So I think the more he throws it, the higher chances they lose. So I'm going to say under 32.
All right, I'm going to go over because I think the Bills are going to be behind at some point, and they're going to be throwing it a lot to try to catch up.
There you go.
All right, James Cook,
Ooh.
the Bills running back, is averaging 83 yards a game. The line is 57.5.
We freeze.
Oh, no, are you there?
Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah. So the Chiefs do a great job of holding down running backs, so I'm going to go the under.
I'll take the under as well for the exact same reasons. I don't think has much of a chance. All right, so Noah Gray averages 25 receiving yards a game. His line is 26.5.
Yeah, give me the over.
I'll take the over as well. I think he's going to show up in some ways people don't expect. So, all right. Well, we'll see where we end up with those this week. Really quick, here's a rundown for the AFC power rankings according to Andrew. Number 5, moving into the top 5. The Chargers, I think they are moving up, as you just pointed out.
Yeah.
They're number 5. Number 4, the Steelers.
Okay.
Hey, Russ is cooking. Russ
let him cook.
Nothing else to say about that. Number 3, the Bills. I know they're number 2 in the AFC right now in the standings, but they've not played or won against very good teams yet. So this Sunday's we're gonna find out real quick how good they are. And I do think they're good, just not quite as good as the top 2. Number 2, the Ravens.
Yeah,
they've dropped a couple of the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. That is a potent front.
Yeah.
And number 1 is the Chiefs, because till the champs get knocked off, you can't knock them down.
That's right. Come on.
That's right. All right. So those are your power rankings for the AFC this week. So thank you for joining us in this episode of the Kingdom Corner. We're so glad you got to come here and join us and hang out with us. We enjoy spending time with you. Hey, if you have questions or anything else, hey, send us a message. Comment on this episode. We'd love to interact with you and get to know you and see what things you'd like to hear us talk about as well. So, but more than anything, we want you to like and share this podcast. Leave us a review. Leaving a review helps us more than anything else. So please do that for us and help us out. So this episode is brought to you by Oh Hey Threads.
Oh, hey.
Man, there you go. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, baby.
Go get yourself a super soft tier hoodie at their website at ohheythreads.com. We'll see you next time right here in the Kingdom Corner.